Look at this. Yes. Adore this Deadpool miniature statue? I think that's what this is called. Well, adore this. Yes. I bought it because I wanted something to be next to me while I was live streaming. So, yep. You can stay right here. Okay, let me just check whether my sound is coming in or not. I think that's what this is called. Yeah, it's coming in. Adore this. So I'm just gonna put it on mute. Hi, I'm Akash from Comics Are Awesome, and I decided to do a live read. I think that's the appropriate term. Well, basically I'm going to be talking about my favorite Justice League story. And I have a lot of coffee. Like, I've already finished half of it because it's 5:30 in the morning while I'm doing this. The story, as you have seen, is Justice League Terror Incognita. I only have 3 of the physical issues. Unfortunately, I don't have the 3rd issue. I have the 1st, the 2nd, the 4th. I actually got the 2nd one first, the 4th one 2nd, the 1st one 3rd, and the 3rd one never. But I do know what happens in the story, and as a huge fan of the Justice League, especially the JLA era, this one's my personal favorite. So, without any further ado, let us dive into Terror Incognita. Is written by Mark Waid, with the first issue being done by Brian Hitch, but the last 3 are done by Mike Miller. You have David Barron and Dave Mikis and Ken Lopez all putting in the work as inks, colors, and letters respectively, just so we could get this pretty amazing story. Now, what is the story about? We will get to that right about now. The first issue came along. Oh god. I swear I know what I'm doing. I'm just very incompetent. So, let's jump in. The first issue, Came the Pale Riders. We see a guy striking out at a bar as he just can't seem to get his lighter to work. That's plot relevant, I'm telling you. The Martian Manhunter, in his human disguise, has just spotted his prime suspect. He chases after him, only to realize that he has somehow ended up on Mars. Not only any Mars, but a Mars where his wife and daughter are still alive. Of course, John doesn't buy it. He is not fooled for a minute. I mean, he is one of the best telepaths in the DC universe. But that's okay, because his assailants only needed to distract him for a bit. And even though John tries his best to call out to the Justice League, but nobody can hear him, and the Martian Manhunter is taken down. We then see certain members of the League being, the best word to use is meddled with, as someone gets into Lois Lane's mind and the Daily Planet and causes her to reveal that Clark Kent is Superman. Batman saves a psychic who has been seeing ghosts, and Nightwing cuts his bathrobe under the influence of someone else. And of course, the big one, we have Flash, Plastic Man, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman. Flash, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and Plastic Man. Aquaman does not show up in this for personal business. And yeah, by the time the story ends, you'll wonder what the hell that personal business was that he couldn't show up at all. as they're in Murmansk trying to help a bunch of people who are suffering from, well, not ideal conditions. Unfortunately, those not ideal conditions also involve some of the people getting desperate enough to reignite a nuclear what was it exactly? Yeah, they tried to revive a power station with fuel from a nuclear submarine. That does not go very well. It's only thanks to Green Lantern that some people actually survive. Unfortunately, the people don't seem to be particularly grateful, as they seem to be willing to commit suicide by attacking the League and trying to disrupt Green Lantern. So in all three of these situations, someone has been manipulating the League, or at least trying to get into them, try to put them off guard. And we can see that they are the White Martians. And while I knew the White Martians were the Justice League's first villains, so to speak, in the JLA era, this was my first story to introduce them. And my god, they are so effective as villains here. So, what about here? So, their plan, well, we're gonna see that in a little bit now as we move into the second issue. Brian Hitch leaves us, and now we have Mike Miller on pencils for the rest of the series. Okay, I think a little backstory is necessary here for the White Martians. At the end of the first JLA story arc, New World Order, the White Martians were punished, so to speak, by the Martian Manhunter, and were brainwashed into being ordinary people. Or, well, they thought they were ordinary people. And, apologies if you can hear anything now. I thought doing this at 5:30 in the morning would mean there would be no external noise, but I can't do anything about that. I'm sorry. So the Martian Manhunter essentially brainwashed the entire White Martian collective into thinking that they were regular humans. That would be an ideal punishment for them. Some of you might have caught on to the fact that this is not probably a very good idea to leave a bunch of Martians who are as powerful as Superman or the Martian Manhunter, as we will see, just running loose in the general population. And Batman certainly thinks so. Like, I mean, told you we should have sent him into the Phantom Zone, after all. But somehow I let myself be convinced that a bunch of powerful telepaths should run free. So anyway, hang on, let's go. I am not at all used to doing these things live. So, Batman tries to deduce what their plan is, because like that psychic, several fortune tellers, gamblers, detectives, they've been going missing. And he manages to suggest that, well, he manages to deduce, or Bat to deduce, that they are somehow congregating in Phoenix, Arizona. Which Plastic Man, who's on call with him, says, I mean, it's probably just a coincidence, right? And Batman points out, I mean, look at the Justice League's history. It probably means they're connected. Batman then teleports to Phoenix, hoping to find John still alive. Again, I don't think the League would have caught on so early to the Martians' plans if they didn't decide to mess with them. But yeah. Plastic Man also points out that, okay, you're Batman, but how do you sneak past telepaths? He says, let me worry about that. I'm Batman. However, the Martians have been busy. It's not just that they've been collecting special human brains to increase their telepathic power, they've also started introducing particles into the atmosphere that slow down or prevent combustion. If you remember in New World Order, they were finally defeated when the entire world essentially just started lighting up fires to stop them. And they have taken steps to prevent that this time. As you know, remember when that guy couldn't get the lighter working? That's what this is. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not looking great. However, Batman does manage to find the Martian Manhunter, and once the Martians do detect Batman, because, well, Batman may have been able to hide from them, from their telepathic abilities. These are still people with super senses. They were able to find Batman pretty easily. And, however, the Martian Manhunter, who, well, look, normally people are like, oh, with the Martian Manhunter, all he does is just get knocked around and he stays at the base. But this is the first time in a long time you will see the Martian Manhunter bring his A game to the table. So, the minute the White Martians just turn their attention to Batman, John takes that moment to escape and attack them. And Batman then asks John, how did they get loose? I thought they were under, surveillance. I thought they were just not active anymore. I thought they were brainwashed. And John reveals that he was the one who accidentally revived them. And this is something that I need to point out. Mark Waid's run on the Justice League doesn't really have an overarching villain. However, that doesn't mean that the arcs don't connect to one another. The Tower of Babel arc is the one that kind of kicks it off. It deals with the whole betrayal that the League felt at the hands of Batman, which leads into the Queen of Fables arc, which sort of allows this situation to simmer, and then moves into the Divided We Fall arc, where the League's trust is shattered to the point where they really can't function as a unit anymore. In an effort to, well, sort of regain the League's trust and sort of bring them all together again, Batman and Superman reveal their identities to the League, to the people who don't know, meaning it was just Kyle and Plastic Man. So now that they know who they are, they could again start functioning as a unit. Unfortunately, this leads into the Wish Granter arc, where the superhero and the secret identity are separated from one another. And during this time, they were given a chance to make a wish. And unfortunately, the Martian Manhunter had subconsciously, while reuniting with his human self, had asked to not be alone. Because the Wish Granter liked to twist things, that ended up awakening people on Earth who were exactly like John, aka reawakening the White Martians. And they have been very busy. Their idea, well, like I said, they've been fireproofing Earth's atmosphere, and they also have been working on building up more telepathic power. Now, Batman asks John to teleport out, but Martian Manhunter says no, he has done enough, and he has given him the ray of hope that he needs. Remember that line. Again, Mark Waid is such a clever writer. Like, if you know, you can probably piece together what he's trying to say here, but I'm not going to dwell on that for too long. So yeah, Batman does escape and, well, he alerts the League to their whereabouts, but the White Martians aren't waiting for that. And their leader, Protex, gives them the order, just go destroy the Justice League. And this leads us into issue 3. And while I don't have this issue physically. If there was one issue I could skip, it was probably this one, because this is the fight scene. Although the fight scene is, well, they're pretty brutal. Yeah. Plastic Man gets ripped up. Superman, Green Lantern, and Flash are knocked around. Plastic Man gets sliced up here, as you can see. He's saved by Green Lantern. Wonder Woman nearly gets drowned. Superman tries to save her, but this is not going well for the League at all. And while this is going on, the fireproofing of Earth's environment, it's starting to have effects, and people are starting to asphyxiate right now. It is not good. Batman, in the Bat Cave, is just telling them to do something, as Kyle's saying, we can't break free, as, well, he gets his arm broken. But Batman starts noticing that the towers are getting neutralized one by one. And he tells them, yeah, you know what? Forget what I just said. Stay where you are. Help is on the way. The Martian Manhunter has gotten free because, again, the White Martians have been so busy with the rest of the League, they haven't actually been paying attention to Martian Manhunter, or haven't been paying their full attention to him, and he has been ready to take advantage of that. And we get to see John at his most Superman-like, destroying all the towers and coming to the League's aid. He saves the heroes from the White Martians, and they regroup at the Fortress of Solitude. Although, as you can see here, Batman and the Martian Manhunter seem to have some sort of secret plan going on that they're not telling to the rest of the League because, well, they're not protected, telepathically speaking. Going to the Fortress of Solitude, a little distraction from Crypto. Again, such a nice thing. Like, Crypto was in the Fortress of Solitude at the time. It's a nice little detail to continuity that I really don't see a lot in modern writers nowadays. The League then try to fight, but they're swiftly taken out. What was Batman and Martian Manhunter's plan? To put them in the Phantom Zone, which Protex thinks is an excellent idea. What better way to torment the League than by putting them someplace where they can watch the world being conquered, as the Martians take special care to take out their friends and loved ones first. As Protex asks John, what's his response to that? John, now with the rest of the League inside the Phantom Zone, says, perfect. So now we move into the final issue. And my God, this is one of the most epic, comic bookiest, I don't know if that's a word, I don't care, issues I have ever seen. The Martian Manhunter is at his finest here, the League are at their finest here, but this is John's story. Let us not forget that. Now, the question is, why did John say it was perfect when the League ended up in the Phantom Zone? Because this is the one place where an army of telepaths can't hear the Justice League planning. While I don't have that image here handy, unfortunately, the Martians don't really waste too much time, as let's just switch over to webcam here. Yeah, you can see here it's the JSA, the Titans, the Justice League Reserves, everybody's gone. Like, the White Martians, they're not messing around. Nobody can stand up to these guys. So, yeah, it's up to the Justice League. Plastic Man points out, okay, well, it's cool if we can make up a whole new plan and whatnot, but how are we supposed to get back? Yes, John says, well, we've made arrangements for that. You don't need to worry about it. Batman and I have been employing a secret weapon for a long time. Now, we don't get to see the plan, which is an indicator that the plan will work, because if you're told what the plan is beforehand, it's probably not going to work. That's how it generally happens in fiction. But if you get to see, but if you're not told a plan, and then it has a higher chance of succeeding. I am stumbling over my words today. Okay. Yeah, I know I'm not bringing my A game here, people. I woke up at 4:30 in the morning to do this. It is not my best work. But yeah, Flash points out, well, yeah, John, this plan you're saying, basically it's suicide for you, and secondly, there's no point, because the Martians will read this off our brains like immediately, because you can't shield both your thoughts and our thoughts at the same time. So John has a solution. He'll mind wipe them. And at the exact key moment, they'll remember what they have to do. This is yeah, remember when mind wiping was a big deal? That would come a lot later. Let's just say Martian Manhunter and Batman were perfectly okay with mind wipes at some point. So yeah, the White Martians are just killing people, or, well, working on going back to fireproofing the planet, when the Justice League shows up and they challenge the White Martians to, come on, let's go. We're back. You failed to defeat us. We are going to get you guys. And the Martians then engage the Justice League. Flash and Plastic Man escape. Batman isn't there at all, although you might see him there for a bit. I don't have that image, but he isn't quite there. The only ones left are Superman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern, and they are horribly outmatched. And it seems like Protex is about to snap Green Lantern's neck, except he's killed a White Martian. They've been fooled into fighting themselves, and none of the League were actually there to begin with, except for Martian Manhunter. And Protex yells at John, How did you delude my warriors, John? And John's like, I didn't delude your warriors, you did. And it's over, Protex. And like, over? How is it over? And it takes a moment for Protex to register this, and it took me, when I first read it, a moment to register it as well. And you can see it, John has that expression on his face like, go ahead, ask your questions out loud, Protex. We don't need telepathy for this. After all, why is there air? As we see Superman, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman towing the freaking moon into Earth's atmosphere. Yeah, that was the plan. Martian Manhunter would use Protex to distract the White Martians so that they would be busy fighting each other on the moon's atmosphere, while Superman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern would essentially bring the moon into the atmosphere so that they could do this. Yeah. It's a good idea, but that's going to have some serious ramifications, as every magician on Earth is trying their best to nullify the moon's gravity going into Earth's atmosphere, because Earth is not going to do so well with a giant planetoid in its atmosphere, because Earth will not last long. and the white Martians are that much of a threat. So, what is the plan? Is John just going to die alongside the Martians? No. His plan? To put them in the Phantom Zone. And as Earth's defenses start to crumble, John finally manages to get them to submit. Which is, like, this panel is so powerful for me. As John yells at them to submit or die with me. You want to conquer us so bad, we will die before submitting to you. It's up to you, Protex. And they manage to, and yeah, they submit. The only one who dies this day is John. Not quite, because, JLA teleporters, and also, can I say something here? The use of teleporters as a practical means of getting around has been so useful this series. Something that I don't really see utilized as often. Oh no, Martian Manhunter is dying. Well, wait, we can teleport him back. And they teleport him immediately. And I also love the fact that while Flash is the one who manages to get his hand first, both Plastic Man and Batman, who are in the Batcave right now, are immediately reaching their hands for it. And as Martian Manhunter is being teleported into the Batcave, we get to see some goofy expressions from Mike Miller, but let's just say the situation calls for it, because look at the image adjacent to Batman yelling, "Pull up!" The moon has been brought into the Earth's atmosphere to the point where it has an impact on the clouds below. And it's the League pulling the moon out of Earth's atmosphere. It is an epic, epic moment. And now, has Martian Manhunter made it? The Atom, who has been Batman and Martian Manhunter's secret weapon this entire time, the Atom had been hiding inside John's brain, where John had telepathically shielded himself. So the Atom was hiding inside his brain. Don't ask how does that work? How does the Atom work in there? It works fine. It's comic book logic. Don't go looking for serious reasoning there. But the Atom has been the one who has been sort of destroying the way they've been keeping John docile, while also helping John sort of use those same psi spikes, those green things you may have seen stuck in his head, which were coming from Protex's head, to use that to sort of manipulate Protex into just sort of attacking his own warriors, because they're also telepathically connected. The Atom had left John's mind during the Fortress of Solitude incident, and had finally showed up here. And now, the question is, has John lived? Of course he has. It's fine. He's terribly, terribly hurt, but he's alive, people. And now, they're going to work to save him. And as the heroes begin to bring the moon back to its proper place, Superman notes, we could not have done that again, even if there were twice the stakes. So Batman is like, okay, we still have cleanup, but don't worry about it. We'll just delegate it to the other super teams. Let the Justice Society and the Titans just dismantle that. But right now, I need to talk to John. And John is like, my fault. I wish to not be alone. And Batman's like, yes, and I demand an apology. And Plastic, whoa, Bat. He saved us, and he's just touch and go. Maybe just, Batman's like, that's why he needs to hear this. Doing my best Batman voice. Look, John, nobody blames you for the Martians. Nobody blames you for what happened to the Watchtower, the moon. Those are forgivable. What's not, what never is what started this. Thinking that you're alone. You, of all people, know better, and I will not let you rest. We will not leave your side until you apologize that for ever believing it to be true. You are in the Justice League. You are never alone. I love this scene, and it sort of caps off Mark Waid's run in a brilliant way. We start with his run started with Batman essentially destroying the Justice League from inside, and and the story ends with Batman holding John's hand, if you notice the panel, and essentially espousing the importance of having the Justice League in the first place. He believes in the Justice League by the end of it. And as Batman is the one to sort of end up breaking the League in the beginning of his run, at the end of it, Batman is the one who sort of brings it all together. It works really, really well. Except Aquaman isn't here because he's still at personal business. So yeah, that's Terra Incognita. I really wasn't sure if I wanted to make a video on it, like a proper scripted video. So I decided, you know what? Let's just have some fun. Let's just do some simple we'll just do some fun things with it. I just wanted to talk about it, and I did. It was pretty cool. This is one of my favorite Justice League stories. My favorite, in fact, despite the fact I only have 3 of the physical copies. But I'm probably not going to be doing a lot more lives. This is just not a good time for me to do it. This is 6 in the morning. And now let's talk to you face to face for the final round. Hey look, the sun's up. Yay. Okay. Well, next month I have, I have 2 videos planned out for February and March, special stuff like this notwithstanding. Expect something with Hawkman in it for the next month. And the month after that, we'll see who was Marvel's Wonder Woman. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, the 2 people who showed up to the stream, I'm sorry, but yeah, even if you managed to make the time, I'm grateful that you did. See you for the next one.